Hello and welcome to the Strategy of the Week for Canada. My name's Jim Penna and I'll be providing your strategy tonight titled Cashing In at the Top. Whether you are looking to hedge your portfolio after a nice run-up in the market or simply have a strong bias to the downside, VectorVest is going to be your best path to maximize gains and minimize losses in your portfolio. Tonight we are going to go through some steps that will allow you to cash in at the top. We're going to look at some market timing indicators that are showing us that it may be time to take advantage of an overbought market. Our goal, as always, is to recognize market direction, decide what stocks or ETFs we're going to use that best fit our investment style, and take advantage of that direction, and then be sure to have a sensible exit strategy in place. So my goal tonight is to take us through a process of using the information that our market timing indicators give us, our market timing graph, as well as our Derby tool, to help us find what strategies are working right now and how we can cash in on some of those profits that we've seen since the beginning of this run-up back in early February. We'll start, as always, on our home page, and we'll take a look at the market timing gauge. And today it reads that the color guard is neutral, and that VectorVest does not advocate buying any stocks at this time. We see the needle straight up in the yellow, telling us that our top row here in the color guard is yellow across the board, and here we'll find some great information as well. We'll start with the price of the VectorVest composite. It's currently trading 1834 as we speak, and the light is yellow. If we track the day over day and week over week movement of that price, we can see it is just fractionally down as of this recording on today's activity, and 5 trading days ago it is down from the close of 1844 that we saw on March the 7th. And because it's down week over week, if we move over to our trend column under the trend header, we see that our first sign of strength or weakness in the market, or our primary wave, is down. And it is down for the second day in a row. As of the close on March 13th, we did have a red light in the price column where we were down on a day over day and week over week basis. And the reason we don't have a red light today in the price column is because 5 trading days ago on March 7th we did close with a green light. And the rules of the color guard state on a week over week basis we have to have that yellow light buffer. But currently the price is down day over day and week over week, with our second day of a primary trend down. If I move over to RT, or the relative timing, short-term price trend of the VectorVest composite, it has flattened out since March 7th. It's ticked down a bit in the last 4 trading days, has stayed right around 1.04. And finally, the buy-sell ratio, it has also ticked down from March 7th over the past week, ticking up fractionally today. The MTI, like the other indicators, which is the market timing indicator or the underlying trend, has also lost steam since that March 7th. And finally, our confirm call stays to the upside. But remember, we're trying to cash in at a top here. So we see over the last 2 days some information that's going to allow us to dig a little further and see how we can profit from that. Now, one thing to note, we also know that no matter how long or strong the current run-up has been since early February, there is always that last green light before the next downturn. Was yesterday's primary wave down in the red light and the down day today a signal that we are in for a major downturn? Well, we don't know. We can only react to the information before us right now. And today that information is going to be found in the VectorVest program. We're going to take a look at the VectorVest views, the market timing graph, as well as the VectorVest Derby. So let's go in and start exploring that information right now. So we've talked about the color guard. Right below the color guard is our strategy section that can be found here on the home page or in the VectorVest views each Monday through Thursday. And the strategy told us that the Canadian markets closed in negative territory due to some geopolitical issues that were going on in the Ukraine, and Chinese data also dampened sentiment. Therefore, with 2 red lights and a down-up situation, the guidance last night was that prudent investors should remain on the sideline and that aggressive investors and traders should play the market with a bias to the downside. And also, each night we also show to you the top 1-day and 5-day Derby winning strategies, which I'll comment on a little bit more in just a few minutes. So as our process continues, we have a couple of down days with the primary trend going down for the second day in a row. We have guidance based on that information that prudent investors should be on the sidelines, and if we're a little more aggressive, that we should be playing with a bias to the downside. Our next step is going to take me to our graphs, and I'm going to go into a market timing graph of the VectorVest composite price. We default to a 1-year look at the VectorVest composite in Canada, expressed here in candlesticks with the 65-day moving average and the MTI buy-sell ratio and RT on the subgraphs. What I'd like to do is take it down to a 3-month look and focus on the most recent low, which is back on February 3rd, and we've seen that nice run up since until we hit the high on March the 11th at 1845 on the VectorVest composite in Canada. I see in graph form the same information I saw in the color guard. The MTI has turned over and started to tick down just a touch. The buy-sell ratio is down below 1. And the relative timing indicator is still at 1.04, but that upward movement has begun to wane, and we see sideways to downward movement over the last 4 trading days. All of this information that we should not ignore if we are looking to cash in at the top. Next, I'm going to change our graph layout, and I'm going to take a look at the Greenlight Buyer RT Kicker graph, where in Canada we have, again, the price of the VectorVest composite, and we also add to the subgraph 2 moving averages. We put the moving average on the relative timing indicator, and we use a 5 and 25-day moving average. Now, though it was only a couple of days ago when the RT Kicker actually did kick into the upside with a green light, we see that over the last few days that 5-day moving average of relative timing has turned over, and as of today's trading is actually met along with the moving average RT of 25 days. And so another piece of information that this run perhaps has reached a top, and we can take advantage of the information that we're gathering here tonight. The next thing I'd like to do is add a quick parameter here. I'm going to just throw MACD on here for one more piece of confirmation or enhancement to what we're looking for here tonight, and choose MACD and add it to the graph. And if we needed even more information or more evidence, we do have the MACD showing a bearish crossover back on 312, where the MACD line crossed below the signal line. So what this information is telling me is that at the very least I need to go out and protect or hedge my portfolio against any potential losses, and again cash in at this top here by either taking profits, tightening stops, or in this case, for the sake of our discussion tonight, we're going to go out and find some candidates to hedge with, or in fact simply play the market to the downside as perhaps a shorter term trade. So to do that, my next step is to go in perhaps the most powerful tool in the program and choose the Derby tab along our main toolbar. And here we default to the Derby view, which allows us to basically run a total of about 180 quick tests all at once. With one click of the button, I've run exactly 183 live ongoing quick tests so that I know exactly what strategies are working the best right now. And as we look to the top, we see follow the money. That is a bullish or long strategy there, followed by a couple of shorting strategies. While preparing for this strategy, I spoke with Dr. D about a process that he likes to follow when considering when to hedge or play the market to the downside. And it included a lot of the steps that we've done so far. And he shared his preferred view when he's in the Derby, and that's going to be the split view that I'm going to click on. Just for now, I'm going to break down the Derby summary there for a moment and take a look at our split view. We have the ability to see all searches in a row. I could see the Derby view or the tote board, which we'll go into a moment, but for now we're going to focus on the split view here. And what the split view allows is all of the bullish searches on the left side, and on the right we get to see the bearish searches, which are performing again the best right now as we speak. And we can see some great shorting searches here. We've got Vern's Vultures, Last Hurrah, etc. If I click on any of these searches, I can drag this out a bit to the left, and we can see the gain and loss on these searches. And we can get a look also at the day's equity curve as well. I'm going to go to ROI, or return on investment, and click there and sort them that way. And just as an example, the top performing search in the entire database, as not only just the best short search as we speak, is Vern's Vultures. It's got 8 winning trades, 2 losing trades. And again, this is based on the market's opening price. So we would have seen some good candidates as we followed through the market timing today. Now the market did open up to slightly to the upside today, but did roll over and has been kind of choppy and sideways since. But we certainly could have taken advantage of that, and one way to have seen that as it was occurring is the Derby summary view that I simply opened back up by clicking those double arrows there. It starts with all searches, gives us all the winning searches versus the losers, but more importantly below we have our bullish and bearish searches, and we can track these throughout the course of the day almost as its own market timing indicator as the market progresses through a day like today, where we've been up and down kind of on a roller coaster throughout the trading day. However, today it did allow us the ability to watch these green bars, if you will, move up and down as its market timing system. I've been tracking it throughout the course of today's trading day, and I can tell you back at about 10:15 a.m. under the bullish searches there were 94 winning searches under the bullish signal today. As we record now at about 2:30 Eastern time, we see there's only 34 winning trades and 109 losers on the bullish searches. At 10:15 this morning there were only 12 of 36 short or bearish searches that were in the green, and now there are 24 with only 4 losing trades. So as the course of the day continues and we see these green bars rise and fall, and today the bearish searches rose fairly consistently while the bullish searches waned throughout the day. Just another great piece of information for us as we look to, again, take advantage of a toppy market. And the other thing I'd like to point out is that we don't have to go in and start shorting stocks if we don't have a margin account or we don't want to or can't short stocks. Always remember we have our buying contra ETFs. These have performed fairly well today. If I click there, we can see the contras that make up the buying contras ETFs bearish search. Of course, we're going long with our contra ETFs, and today we have 4 of those to the upside. One's flat on the day, and we have a couple down. So during the course of the day, as we started to see the market continue that follow through from yesterday's down day, we easily could have come in here and at the very least begin to hedge our portfolio against that potential top so that we can cash in, whether it's with a hedge to protect our portfolio and wait for more confirmation as the coming days indicate which way this market's going to move, or we could have gone and shorted some stocks and played the market to the downside for an actual trade. So we'll take this back here. The final thing I'd like to do in the Derby tool is go to the tote board. Once again, I'll break down the summary for a moment and take a look. It defaults to the last 5 trading days, the tote board, and it gives us a great comprehensive view of the amount of winning trades in each of these top searches. These are the top searches over the last 5 trading days. So we have a couple of long searches at the top, and then our shorting searches start to show up. Gives us the percent of winning days over the last 5 days, winning trades, our total gain loss. If I slide over a bit, it gives us our max drawdown, which is always an important indicator, and finally our efficiency factor. So what I'd like to do is click on efficiency right now, and if we do that using our efficiency factor, which simply takes winning days, winning trades, and max drawdown and rolls it into a number, and at the top is currently Cito's hook and sinkers. We've got other short strategies up top here, speculative stocks over 10, worst stocks over 20. So over the last 5 days, if we use the efficiency factor, we have some other candidates or searches that we can go in and take a look at. What I like to do is, I mentioned earlier that last or most recent high was on March the 11th, so we can even take it down and be more specific from that high over the last 4 trading days. Marathon short, easy does it, confirmed down. These are some of the searches that have performed the best since that most recent high. And again, if we choose to, we have our contra ETFs down here if we can't or don't want to short stocks in the market. Just a few months back, we've had our Derby tool enhanced tremendously by being able not only to look at day trading over the past 3 or 4 trading days, in this case 4 trading days, We can also look at buy and hold strategies, where instead of a day-by-day analysis of the search, we can go from point A to point B, and we can see ballistic new high short and over $10 has been the best performer since that recent high when we sort by efficiency factor. So this is a great way to find candidates that have been working over the last 3 or 4, in this case 4 trading days. And keep in mind, again, what I'm doing with each click is I'm running these quick tests. I just ran 180 quick tests with one click of the button to find out what stocks have performed, or what searches have performed the best since March 11th. So just to summarize from the Derby window, the bullish searches as of 10:15 this morning had 94 winning searches in place. And currently we're at only 29. The bearish searches have doubled since that time through the course of the day. This is great information to have throughout the course of a day that just enhances your odds, again, of being on the right side of the market and finding those very important exit and entry points that we need to maximize gains and minimize losses. So we'll end back on the home page. Again, just to summarize, we take a look at the same process we've been using for years. We're going to start with the market timing gauge, analyze the color guard, look for information in the VectorVest views that gives us some great insight as to the short-term trend of the market and whether or not we are topping out. We went to a graph and see that since that recent low on February 3rd, we hit a high and that momentum has seemed to have waned. Finally, the Derby tool, which brings us here and lets us find these searches and allows us to see as the day progresses what's working now, what's beginning to work, whether it's at the open or at lunchtime or later in the afternoon. At any time we can act on these pieces of information so that we can cash in at the top. So that concludes tonight's strategy of the week. I'd like to remind you that we do have a live Q&A webcast this Wednesday, March 19th at noon Eastern Time. You can register at vectorvest.com/events. And if you have any other questions, please don't hesitate to call our product support floor at 888-658-7638 with any questions on the VectorVest program or securing that trial period for real-time and or the Derby tool if you so choose. Thanks for joining me and have a great evening.